Okay, dude bros, welcome back to Heavy Metal Cooking. In today's episode, we're going to be making chicken pot pie in a 10-inch cast iron skillet. I'm telling you, it's good. But the first thing about pot pie is it's kind of a pie, so you need to make a crust. Now you kind of want to probably do this the day before or in the morning if you're making it at evening or something, because the crust can really stand to sit in the refrigerator several hours to overnight, bro. So I would suggest just making your crust the day before and then just leave it in your refrigerator. But at the moment what I have here to start out, I got 2 sticks of butter, bro. And I diced them up real good. You see what I did there? You want them diced and you want them cold. Cold. So I can tell you the number one thing about making your crust is make sure stuff is cold. And then we're going to take this, we're going to put it in our mixing bowl here. Get all that good butter. Now you can use shortening if you want, or Crisco, or margarine, but you know, as long as you don't mind your food tasting like crap, by all means, you can do that stuff. But I am a butter man. Butter makes it taste better. And then we're going to add to this a little bit of salt, about a teaspoon of salt. Like, almost everything needs salt, man. If you can find me a recipe that doesn't require salt, wow. And then, just to make it a little crispy on the edges, little bit of baking soda, not baking powder, brah. Baking soda. Now we're going to take 2.5 cups of flour and add that to our butter and salt and baking soda. Start off here with my 1/2 cupper. Yeah. And then we're going to go to the 2 cupper. Well, it's a cup, but I'm going to do it twice. So, 2.5 cups. And then we're going to take our wonderful little butter mashing tool. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this is called, but it looks kind of funny, you know? Like, woo, look at it. It's weird. But you want to mash this up. If anybody knows what it's called, by all means, leave it to me in the comments. This is a Christmas present of mine when I was having difficulty working on my pie crust. They were like, hey man, try this. This will help it out. We're cutting the butter into the flour, and you want to smash this butter into the flour for a couple minutes until it gets into like little coarse rivulets, like little pieces of gravel in your flour type thing. You want it all mixed in there well, mash it, smear it, crush it up. Yeah, man, it's gonna be good. See what I mean here? Yeah. Let's get all that in there. And then we're going to add some ice cold water to the mix. Now I got 1/2 cup in the freezer, but I'm not going to just add all that water to it. I'm going to add it a little bit at a time. And as I'm adding the water to it, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to try to mix it up with my hands a little bit to get into a ball type shape, like we do with a lot of other dough stuff. Just want it to ball up real nice and roll it around. Be right back with my ice cold water. Alright, so here we have it all mushed in there into where you see little bits of butter into the water. Now we're going to add a little bit of water. This is the ice cold I got in the beer mug. Bit at a time. I'm going to roll that around. Try to get it to ball up. And it's cold, like I said, man. Everything's got to be cold. The butter's got to be cold. Hell, if you want to even put your flour in the refrigerator beforehand, it's not a bad idea. It's not necessary, but you know, everything about this needs to be cold. I even knew a lady once who had a rolling pin that had water in it. It was plastic that had water in the center of it that you could put it in the freezer, so you were pretty much rolling out your pie crust with a block of ice just to make sure that everything stayed as cold as possible. Now, I don't understand really why. I'm not a scientist. It's got something to do with gluten, but that's why it is. Oh my, I need some more water than that, because it's nowhere near balled up yet. That was my whole 1/2 cup. You can always use more if you need it. Here we go, we're just mixing in a little bit more water. It helps, I suppose, to get your water cold if you're keeping it in a frosty mug. Often people say to add it a teaspoon at a time, and that's not a bad idea. Oh yeah, there we go. I think that just pretty much did it. Now it's just a matter of balling it up real good. It seems like it's got relatively enough water. And we're gonna roll it just like a lot of other dough, because you want everything consistently rolled in it. You don't want pockets of just flour or anything. So you want to put as much pressure and roll it as much as possible to make sure it is uniformly consistent inside the whole bowl. Okay, dude bros, I got it rolled out pretty good. So I want to plop it here and some saran wrap. Get you a cutting blade, man, I'm telling you. And we want to wrap it up and we want to set it in the refrigerator for, like I said, 2 to 4 hours overnight. Personally, I'm doing this overnight, so dude bros, see you tomorrow. Okay, dude bros, here we have a pound chicken breast, boneless, skinless, that we want to have in there. I know it's not cast iron, okay? I just need a saucepan. I don't have a cast iron saucepan. Alright, dude bro. Anyway, so I want to sit this here and I want to chop up some carrots, put in here. And we want to cook this stuff for about 15 minutes all together. Now I'm just slicing the carrots fairly thin at the moment. I've got 2 carrots. But then I'm going to cut them up into even smaller chunks than this. You want them beyond bite size, man. You want them niblet size, you know? You want like the person with the world's smallest mouth to be able to eat several of these carrot pieces at the same time. Well, maybe you get to the end. That's pretty good. That's too big. So we're going to sit here and we're just going to dice it up like this a little bit. To get it smaller, and little chunks. There we go. Then we're going to put that in our saucepan. And we're going to take a couple celery stalks and do the same thing with that. So here I got a bunch of celery. I don't need the whole thing, dude. All I need is like 2 of these stalks. Take it out of here. Maybe not. Let's see how that goes. 1, 2. Yep. Put the rest up. Always cut your ends off and get rid of that stuff. Now I want to dice this up similar to what I did to the carrots. Now, here's one of the things about making pot pie is there's really no right or wrong about what you put in it, man. I know some people will put some potatoes in it and that's fine too. Some people will just put other weird things in. Some people don't like celery, that's fine, man. Whatever you want in there. I am also going to add, after this, a can of peas. I know it's a can, bro, but if I had like real peas, I would do it. I mean, not that these are fake peas. Always be wary of these things, man. They'll bite you. Don't be a hero and use your hand on those lids. But I also happen to have some leftover corn from another thing I did the other day. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in there. If you got any leftover vegetables, then whatever, dude. Put it in there. Pot pie is yummy. Now I want to fill this with water, just enough to cover it, and I want to put it on the stove to a boil for 15 minutes. Okay, dude, bros. I've been cooking on the onions for a couple minutes now in the butter. You see how they're starting to get soft, a little translucent. Alright, now I'm going to add the rest of the stuff for the sauce to it. Okay, dude bros, we're going to add some chicken broth here to this mix, to our onions. We're going to add about 2 cups of chicken broth. Get it all, pretty much all I got right there is 2 cups. And then we're going to add a cup of milk. I use whole milk. You use skim milk if you want. 2%, doesn't matter. Milk. And then 1/3 cup flour to get it to thicken up. Now you want to stir it as you're adding your flour to the mixture. And you want to stir this until it thickens up real nice. Now at the moment I got a medium heat. I want to turn it up a little bit to medium well. To get it to thicken up a little better. While we're doing this, I'm also going to add a bit of garlic and a bit of pepper. I like pepper. And some salt. And this is going to be our filling. Once we get this thick, we're then going to roll out our pie shells and add all this to it, and then we're going to bake it in the oven. You can see right here, here's my chicken and my pepper and celery. It's ready to go too. I'll just strain that out. Hand shred. The chicken in there. Our cast iron skillet, it'll be good. Alright, it's been on the thing here on medium high, my bad, for about another 2-3 minutes, and you see, boom, that's thick. That's what we're looking for, dude. Yeah, dude, bro. Alright, so let's go get our pie crust now done. Okay, dude bros, here we have our crust from yesterday. I'm gonna put some flour down here. I'm gonna break this in half. I want half for the bottom and then half, well, a little more than half for the bottom and half for the top. Yeah, it's nice and cold and everything. What I probably should have done is I probably should have stuck this in the freezer beforehand, but I did not. So I'm going to put on some on. I want to put some on the top too. Make sure it doesn't stick as much there. I'm going to roll this out pretty thin. I want it to take and fill up this whole 10-inch cast iron skillet to the top from the bottom and up these edges. So I want it to be pretty big. Now last time I made this, I used Crisco for my pie crust. And I just have to say, well, maybe not Crisco, but some shortening. Probably cheap generic bread. But it was horrible. It was just god awful. I did not like it. I'm telling you. Butter, butter, butter. Always butter. That's about as big as I can get it on this cutting board. Anything else will stretch it out. In the pan. So I take it. Here we go. We got it in here. Now we just gotta arrange it all the way up to the top. Up to the top. We'll have some extras. We'll take that area where it's extra and add it to areas where it is lesser. Like we got stuff rolling over the edge here. We just cut that off and we'll add it over here where it's not as full, because we want to get this whole thing like that. All the way up to the top. A little bit extra there. Boom, add that. Pull some of that up. Okay, so here we got all the carrots and peas and celery, and we're going to take and we're going to hand shred this chicken. I got it in some cold water over here so it's capable of being handled. We're going to shred that all in there, and we're going to mix it up with all those vegetables once we get it hand shredded. Yeah, nice chicken breast. Big hunks of chicken if you want. You can use a cutting board and dice it into chunks. You can hand shred it, either or. I prefer this way. Ooh, that piece is a little hot still. Put it back in the water. There we go. Now I want to mix in some of these vegetables. Mix it in, get some on the bottom, some on the top. Alright. Alright. Now we're going to put our sauce over top of that. And that's all thick and everything. Oh yeah. It'll sink down into everything. There we go. And now we'll roll out the top pie crust and put on top of that. Alright, we're going to flour our cutting board up a little bit more. We're going to take the other half of our pie crust, a little bit more flour on top, roll it around. Now this one doesn't have to be as big, but it still has to go and cover over the whole thing. And we're going to flute it down real nice. I always try to make it all the way to side first. And then I roll it out thick like that. See what this looks like on here. Here we go. We want to do the same thing. Take the edges that are over and add the areas that are less. Boom, baby. Now we've got one more little thing we have to do. We're going to take one of these eggs, we're going to beat it, and we're going to brush it over top of our pie crust. Then we're going to cut some slits in it. It doesn't look so good right there. Smash it around a little bit. So that it won't burn as well on the top, and the slits will keep it from exploding all over the place. Alright. Alright, so we're going to take our egg, crack it right there. Ooh, don't need that eggshell. And we're going to whip it up here with our little basting brush. There we go. Yeah. Now we're just going to baste it on our pie shell. And this will help keep it from browning as much. It'll keep it from burning. Now you can take a little bit more time and flute the edges and everything if you want to, bro, and you know, that's good. It's not a bad thing. There we go. Now we're going to preheat our oven to 425 degrees. We're going to pop this bad boy in there for about half hour, 35 minutes maybe. Oh yeah, we also need to cut slits in it. I don't have a knife. Alright, dude, bros. I'm just going to put like a little cuts in there like that to keep it from blowing out. Alright, I'm going to pop it in the oven. 425 degrees, 35 minutes. Okay, dude bros, here we are with our chicken pot pie, fresh out of the oven. A little on the dark side, but I'm gonna tell you, it tastes awesome. See you next time. Don't look at me.